Surfing Violinist presents No Later Light, Family Vlog 46. In last month's vlog, I focused on how much the first few days of being a boom mic operator fly on the wall in the production of Chris Sanders' feature film No Later Light reawakened a creative part of me that had been long dormant. How this indie film skeleton crew reminded me how I used to feel in my younger days as an aspiring storyteller. But in the meantime, I've picked up some life experience, and reality has forced me to look around a bit and see that in my rush to tell stories, especially at the speed of vlog edits and social media whims and trends, I was often strangling my intended story with a utilitarian lack of style. I wasn't letting my projects breathe. One of mine and Melissa's biggest arguments was about a pink backpack I had willfully chosen to ignore in the background of an interview we had set up for a video documenting our love of New Delhi, and why we had chosen this bustling megalopolis as our home starting in 2013. When Melissa saw the footage, she was aghast. Like, we took the time to go to this lovely monument, and you saw that pink backpack in the shot and thought it was okay? But at the time, the utilitarian side of me just didn't care about that. I was a vlog factory, and to me, aesthetics just didn't matter. It only took me the better part of 10 years since that oft-referenced creative difference for me to finally understand her side. The final nail in the coffin to this myopic vlogger tunnel vision was hammered in by our gaffer Al, with his transcendent behind-the-scenes photography during the filming of No Later Light. If anyone had an excuse to be utilitarian, it was Chris and his crew. A 3-week indie film production fraught with every pitfall Murphy's Law could marshal, and yet Al could take a step back and see beyond this fog of production war to capture moments like this. And in the next breath swim around with a reflector just above water but out of shot while he was literally holding his breath. And this shot of Chris is a perfect freeze frame of Chris's challenge, finding a way to tell his unique coming-of-age story as it unfolded in the ever-narrowing liminal space between the expanding crop of rentals along this singular stretch of snow-white shoreline and the regimented march of battalion after battalion of homeowners association and branded townships with their gated communities and Byzantine parking infrastructures. Caught along by the swirl of my own vocational challenges, I never had the chance to read the script from beginning to end, so I experienced the unfolding of the story in a non-linear fashion. And I have to say, with or without linear plot, Chris's film snuck up on me with such remarkable aesthetics. Every day was a procedural but non-linear uncovering of the development of the characters and colors, sounds, and settings. It was a great way to watch a film, to be honest. And sometimes I was so caught up in the performances and the script and Chris's dialogue and the actors' interpretations of it that I was kind of I think I was kind of at a distraction. I think Jackie and Rob didn't mind it too much. I really hope it didn't inhibit their performance. But I mean, there were times, you can see it right here. I'm like smiling because I was taken away. I felt like I was watching a movie. So not the most professional boom mic operator in the biz. So with this vlog, rather than provide a moment-by-moment linear account of my experience on the production of No Later Light, I'm just going to focus on the people that made this project possible and relate little vignettes about the highs, lows, and mids that stick out to me with my companions on this quest. I wasn't available for every day of production, so I did not meet every member of the cast and crew, but these are the principal figures who made No Later Light a production. You know Chris and Marlena. Here's Chris on a particularly difficult day after receiving repeated sucker punches from Murphy's Law, doing his best sad Keanu impression. This is not acting. Heavy is the head of the leader of any creative or entrepreneurial endeavor, which is not something I ever doubted, but having a front row seat to Chris having to juggle a mismatched and imbalanced array of creative tools whilst attempting to pluck his creative vision from the ether and translate it to all those around him in a way they can both comprehend and execute, this was a masterclass, and for me, a cautionary tale. For years, I thought I had what it took to be a film director, and now I realize I have never written a script as comprehensive in scope, yet focused in tone, style, character development, and authenticity of dialogue as what Chris has accomplished with No Later Light. So just like with Marlena's short film Driving There, Chris's No Later Light reinvigorated me with the hope that such an endeavor is in fact feasible. But execution requires a much more conscientious and disciplined approach to creativity than I can claim for myself in my rather ADD direct-to-YouTube scattershot approach thus far. Marlena is producer on No Later Light, which on an independent film means doing everything imaginable. No job too low or detail too minute to overlook. She had to deal with everything from hiring replacement cast and crew, to ordering new equipment, to helping the sound guy navigate technical difficulties and some days be the sound guy when he was already booked. We did not have a script supervisor on No Later Light, so concern for continuity became a distributed responsibility, but I doubt anyone had the eye for it as keenly as Marlena. In one particularly shell-shocking incident, after we'd nailed a very difficult guerrilla shoot at a very visible location at an inopportune time when light had all but been exhausted, insert No Later Light joke, and we were already almost set up for the next scene in a more secure location, she realized we had forgotten a set of key props in the prior scene. It was a pit-in-the-stomach kind of revelation, but what struck me was how instantaneous the reaction was from everyone. Without skipping a beat, everyone launched into action and we ran back to the scene of the crime to get it right this time. As we ran, I had a revelation about film that I will save for another occasion, maybe later in the vlog if I can squeeze it in, because it takes too much of an exposition dump to go into details about it here, but suffice it to say, this camaraderie in a moment of creative crisis was yet another puzzle piece I'd been looking for in the last decade. I didn't just feel at home in the Sanders family dining room. I felt at home with this ragtag group of guerrilla filmmakers on a strike mission into unknown territory to secure an objective, or perhaps intrepid treasure hunters sneaking in under cover of night to dig up buried treasure. It was a moment I'd been missing since Melissa had us gallivanting across New Delhi on our mini adventures, and this little vignette was possible because Marlena is such a meticulous filmmaker and filled her role as producer with such dedication. Next up was Kelton, the film's assistant director and Chris and Marlena's roommate in LA. Like Marlena, Kelton had to wear so many hats in addition to his primary duties. He would send us the call sheets and embed some Easter eggs and jokes to personalize what can otherwise be a dry undertaking. He got to show off his acting chops in a scene in which he played the role of Joe, an old friend of our main character. Joe has a sister who makes a cameo, and my daughter got to play that role. It was a very short scene, but the cast and crew still honored Satya with the industry tradition of giving her an ovation when her part in the picture wrapped. Kelton brought joy to a production role that involved the thankless task of herding cast and crew from setup to setup and cheerleading morale when hours went long. I've mentioned the director of photography, Anton's dedication to his craft in the scene involving the giant mud puddle, but there were so many situations like this in which he would accept nothing less than perfect execution on his part. There were takes that seemed to pass muster, and Chris would say, "I think we got it," and Anton would say he thought the lighting or his camera move could be executed a bit better to fit the vision. But Anton balanced this relentless pursuit of cinematography perfection with a wide-eyed appreciation of Chris's old stomping grounds. The first night I was on the crew, after a brain-burning shoot at a variety of locations, he and Al went for a night swim, and their enthusiasm after their beach baptism was so invigorating that it changed the whole vibe of the production. Through the fog of production schedule war, you could hear Al and Anton laughing, and you just had to smile. Al not only took these phenomenal production stills, he applied this same expertise with composition and lighting to his role as gaffer, and always had a creative approach to tackle the obstacles between Chris and Anton's vision and the inconvenience of reality. Al always found a way to lighten the mood, and his camaraderie with the crew made what would otherwise be grueling shoots almost seem like coffee shop bits from Seinfeld. Real comic relief in the middle of the bustle. Tell us about your $1 trillion idea.
Oh, I'm not telling you.
No, come on, man. No.
I'm actually doing this for it. I'm not even joking.
Oh, hell yeah. I was here, though, guys. I was here for the moment that it was coined.
All we'll say is smudge. What's up, everybody?
Hey!
Just here on set.
BTS guy.
All right. Yeah, that's good. All right.
Yeah, that's good. Yep, we get that. That's perfect.
Am I out?
Yeah, you're.
I don't know if it's gonna do much, but I'm gonna try. You gotta vibe. You gotta. You're not vibing.
Well, they're already gone.
Marlene and her mom is still here. They didn't go. I said them to wait.
Yeah, tell them to wait.
Oh, okay.
I was going to.
But yeah, that's the.
We had to say goodbye to Al as he had been booked overseas for another project, so we had a more emotional goodbye with him than I would have expected for someone I hadn't even known for 2 weeks.
Thank you so much.
I already missed you.
I already missed you. Hannah and I will see you.
Yeah, you know, don't lose that baby charm that you got. That's swagger. Yeah.
Safe flight, Al. Have fun at Baton.
Yeah.
Tell Robbie said bye.
Take care of him. He needs a little help.
I will.
Oh, yeah, man, you guys got it. Yeah, like you're perfect. Let me know. Yeah, yeah.
Can you take a picture?
Take it.
Right, I'm stalking you.
Goodbye, Ford. Goodbye, man.
It's great meeting you, dude.
Yeah, I do. I'll let you know that India saga.
All right. Yes, please.
Yeah. All right. Love you guys.
All right, love you, man.
Bye.
Safe travels.
Bye, man. Thank you so much, Al. Thank you, guys.
Al's replacement was Luca, who picked up right where Al left off in expertise. Bringing his experience as a DP, he didn't skip a beat and fit right in. Sometimes someone's expertise really can go to their head, but Luca fit right into the ethos Chris and team had cultivated of being great without being a snob. Again, it's a really hard high-wire act. Katya was our first AC, responsible for pulling focus and all the attending camera duties with its accessories, so many scenes were outside, forcing Katya to spend a good deal of time under cover to better see the monitor and keep an eagle eye on focus. She kept our spirits up by adding to the coffee shop banter on set and lightening the mood. Nick and Sean formed our grip team, with Nick helming the operation as key grip, in charge of navigating the grip trailer into some very narrow and precarious alleys and lanes. This job has always mystified me, the amount of equipment, terminology, and organization acumen required to fulfill the grip duties really qualify it as an industry unto itself. And how Nick and Sean managed to navigate the demanding and delicate task of readying the art gallery for the shoot and returning it to its original state without mishap is a testament to the mastery of their craft. And then there's the craft services provided by Chris's dad and mom, and Marlena's mom, my Aunt Martha. They all went above and beyond the call of duty, of course, providing not just room and board, but transportation, and so much more. We did feel like family by pretty much day one. And finally, the leads. Rob and Jackie as Ryan and Libby. Because our scheduling was so tight, I often would carpool with talent so we could mic or do sound checks on the way, so I'd spend a lot of time with them. There was one moment early in shooting, so early in fact, day 2, I was shocked to realize after going back to look this recording up that we'd only known each other less than 48 hours, testament to the fog of war effect of film shoots. Anyway, in this scene, they didn't necessarily need sound to accompany their walk on a bridge, but we kept all mics live just in case. They began to have a personal chat, and Jackie told Rob I was listening in. He was like, yeah, I know. And then they proceeded to improv something so in character and organic, but still funny, that I really started to think it was part of the script. As I mentioned earlier, I was often quite guilty of getting in their eye line, making eye contact, and reacting like an audience member to their performances, and they never let my distraction break their performance for a beat. Just consummate pros. They were very gracious with my tendency to monologue about everything from India to music and film, and were both founts of wisdom for their young age on the finer points of their craft. From accents to posture, and how latent tension can inhibit not just one's performance as an actor, but one's emotional resonance as a human. They gave me so much to think about. Chris, Marlena, and the entire cast and crew of No Later Light were some of the final pieces of a puzzle I've been trying to put together since returning from India. I kept saying in my documentary, in which I was trying to document this process of returning home, how it felt like I was trying to put a puzzle together and I didn't know where half the pieces went. Well, love of film, filmmaking, and the creative conflict and concerted camaraderie in pursuit of a shared artistic goal was a big piece. I had thought discovering a physical fitness routine involving surfing, skimming, and skating, and a linchpin gig in my violin performance life were the final missing pieces, but I jumped the gun. The moment I was looking for, with Rohan learning cricket in our kitchen in India, is still probably out there. But the experience with this cast and crew, these comrades, not in arms, but in creative tools, were big pieces that I had forgotten about entirely. And I think I have enough experience now to realize that this puzzle is still incomplete. It's still unfinished. My odyssey continues, but I feel more comfortable in my skin and in my psyche than I have in 10 years, for sure. So thank you, Chris, Marlena, and the whole cast and crew. I can't wait to see this movie and champion it for decades to come. Until next time, keep it creative, keep it cross-cultural, and keep it constructive, YouTube. Thank you very much. To see these videos early, without ads, join the lineup here on YouTube. You just need a YouTube account, and for $1.99 a month, you click this little join button and sign up to get early and ad-free access to 4 monthly vlogs: the surf vlog, the violin vlog, the masala vlog, and the family vlog. Thank you very much.